The Chicago Bears won an absolutely amazing game in Week 9, and now they get to host the New York Giants, who played a good game but suffered a tough loss to the San Francisco 49ers. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this Week 10 matchup and provide our predictions at the end. So be sure to stay tuned. Leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, Chicago Bears easily won probably the game of the year now up to this point.
Oh yeah.
47-42, 31 points total scored in the fourth quarter. And I think I got to go back and let me quickly just double check this. I think it was about 25 scored in the last like 4 minutes of the game or something like that. When was the
It might have
Bengals
been like the last minute 50. Like
two?
it was
Absolutely wild. Now they scored a 23-yard touchdown pass with a minute 43 left. And so it was 23 points. They scored 15 points in in about 15 seconds there. Uh, and then the Bears then went down and scored in 37 seconds later to that Colson Loveland pass. Absolutely wild. And
yeah.
so it's side note, and we'll be doing the Bengals breakdown here. Actually, no, I think they have a bye, but we'll be doing the Bengals breakdown in our other video. But it's amazing how awful that defense is. Like lot of interpersonal stuff going on. But either way, though, all that interpersonal stuff, I would say you maybe could have said something a little bit about Chicago last year. Not this year, though. This team believes Ben Johnson. It's not perfect. Definitely still a lot of learning to go. But you can see Caleb Williams developing, grinding things out. Giving up 42 points to the Cincinnati Bengals offense is not. I mean, we could talk through things that the defense could do better. They definitely collapsed in the final 2 minutes of the game. But in general,
Yeah.
though, before that, like really only holding this Bengals offense to 24, 27 points before all that stuff happened is actually an accomplishment because this Bengals offense is ridiculous. They're going to have the exact opposite type of performance or offense they're going up against. As the New York Giants, who I can't believe I'm saying this, Jaxson Dart is their entire offense. I mean, Jaxson Dart, 24 for 33, 191 yards and 2 touchdowns, 8 carries, 56 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Wild to say for the Giants, but like they're just being devastated by injuries. But
Yeah.
who knows what this team could be if they had Malik Neighbors, if Cam Scadaboo was still healthy as well too. Offensive line's playing better. Andrew Thomas is healthy, which I think is a big boost to that team. Probably still now looking like Brian Dable is going to get let go at the end of the year. Something that we'll be talking about throughout the year. But Ryan, when you look at this Bears team as a whole, they're in a very tight division race, but this seems totally different than last year. It seems like this team believes there's not going to be any second half of the season woes. What are you most impressed by? And what do you think they have to continue to keep on doing to win this game and go to 6-3?
I'm most impressed by Ben Johnson. I know that might be the roundabout way of answering that question, but Ben Johnson has just done a fantastic job being creative with this Bears offense. They have a ton of weapons. They have a ton of guys that are really talented. But I think part of his need to be creative is Caleb Williams is struggling to just be like in structure all the time. And so I think finding ways to get him out of the pocket with double passes or even, catching multiple receptions in this game, finding ways to not just have a plain vanilla ordinary offense, I think is something that one is confusing a lot of defenses, but then it's also making it easier for Caleb Williams on those in structure plays to be willing to sit in the pocket and stand and deliver. And I think what did they run for against the Bengals? Like it was like 273 yards, which is crazy.
283 yards. Yeah,
283 yards.
Kyle Monangai had 26 carries, averaged 6.8 yards per
Yeah.
carry at 176 total
Yeah.
yards.
That's
Great
just
game.
crazy.
Yeah.
And that's also a true like rookie in his first start. Because DeAndre Swift missed the game with injury, but I just have been really impressed with Ben Johnson and what he's been able to do with this offense. And the Bears are a good team. I don't know if they would really be if I would really consider them like a late playoff contender, but like they have a shot to make a wild card. And I think that they're really building something there under Ben Johnson. I just think the reason why I say that, I saw your face when I said that I don't think that they're like a late playoff contender, is I just think that they still lack consistency. And if it weren't for a few like heroic plays, that they would be 3-5 right now. I go back to the Raiders game where they won on a last second shot. And then actually you go to the Commanders game, and granted that's a tough one to judge because that was in an absolute monsoon. But if it weren't for a couple fortunate turnovers that I don't think the Bears had much to do with, they were more giveaways, they probably lose that one. And then this one, yeah, their defense collapsed in the final 3 minutes of the game and gave up all those points. But then it still took the Colston Loveland and the absolutely atrociously missed tackle by the two safeties for him to break that and go for a touchdown. So
Yeah.
they have been fortunate so far this year against some of the lesser teams that they have played.
So I think that's a fair point. I push back a little bit on if they're a late run playoff team is one just because this NFC is kind of wide open. There's a lot of
Yeah,
really good teams on the AFC. You're hot or you're not. There's really just 8
yeah,
teams like Texans and Ravens. Like the Ravens can maybe come back and win the NFC North, but I think it's gonna be tough for them to make a wild card. The Texans, I don't think their offense can get them there. They still have a tough schedule ahead. But on the NFC though, like if we're just going into it right now, the Bears, the Bears are eighth right now in the playoff standings. I just go to show you how deep it is. But the Panthers are 5-4 right behind them. The Vikings are 4-4, and shoot, even the Cowboys right behind them 3-4-1. Still a lot of football left to go. Everybody beneath that, and which starting at my Falcons, unfortunately, and down is probably out of the playoff picture now, including the Giants who are 2-7 on the year. But
yeah,
but I think on paper the weapons that this team does have, and if Caleb Williams keeps on developing as they get more comfortable with this Ben Johnson system, this offense could maybe make a crazy push. So this is where the thing I think that's going to hold them back, what I'm going to be curious about, is just going to be this defense giving up a
yeah,
lot of yards, 26 in total yards allowed, 25th in passing yards allowed, 25th in rushing yards allowed, and only 17 sacks on the season so far up to this point. If they're going to prove me right and could be one of these late playoff teams, these past couple of kind of crazy wins that they've had. And actually, too, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've had three straight. No, 3 of their last 4 games have been on the road, but then they lose to Baltimore,
mhm,
which Baltimore playing at home. It's the NFL, but this is a game though. You've had these crazy wins. You've had these good performances overall. This is a game though. Like the Giants are clearly much lesser team. They're significantly injured. I know the defense isn't playing well, but
yeah,
if you're gonna prove me right, this is one. Make Jaxson Dart look like a rookie. Get after
yeah,
him. Make it be like there's like a take away his options, contain him in the pocket because his defense does need to improve. However, offensively though, we've seen that they can put up some points, and Caleb Williams is developing in structure. Shoot, the Colson Loveson touchdown pass, great read.
yeah,
What Baltimore was doing, having 7 guys on the line trying to disguise their coverage, makes no sense to me with 17 seconds left in the game. But that's
yeah,
makes sense with the Bengals defense. But in general, though, but still being in the pocket, hitting Colson Loveland on that slant, and then Colson Loveland going for the big run with everything that happened emotionally, I think does show that poise
you mean
and
the
that.
Bengals, not the Ravens, sorry.
Sorry, the Bengals.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, 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 okay, okay.
my apologies. Um, whoever they played this past week, the Bengals. But it's still on paper though too, and this running game's playing really well. So like those are their defensive stats, but their offensive stats. Let me pull up their offensive stats here. Much better than last year.
Yeah,
They struggled overall. This year though, fourth in total yards, 10th in passing yards, second in rushing yards. I even want to pull up too as well. It's like their rushing yards. Like they've had a couple of dud games, but in general though, they're over 120 yards a game in over half their games. 2 of their games are over 200 yards. So if they play a team that does have a struggling running game in the playoffs here, and there are a couple of those teams, uh,
yeah,
they could absolutely take advantage of that. And that was a big issue for them last year was the running game.
yeah, and that I think is a good point. For me, not all of their offensive production is coming off of Ben Johnson's creativity and his ability to scheme up plays. What happens if they play a team that is just going to be fundamentally sound? They're going to play 3 deep. They're going to keep everything in front of them, and they're just going to make Caleb Williams consistently take the check down. And I feel like at times we've really seen him struggle to do that this season. And I know he's gotten better as the season has gone on. I just think it's gonna this I don't think is the right test for this team. They're gonna win this game. I'm picking the Bears to beat the Giants.
Well,
the Giants are so banged up right now. You look at the defense, especially the secondary. Cordell Flott left the game as well. Cordell Flott, Anthony Johnson was out. John Michael Schmitz left the game with a shin injury.
Oh, yeah.
Javon Holland was inactive for a knee injury as well. So like they're just really banged up on the back end of that defense. But if you look at the Bears' remaining schedule coming up, so then they go to Minnesota, then they host the Steelers, then they go to Philadelphia and Green Bay in the following weeks after that. And I think that we will really be able to judge the Chicago Bears after that stretch, because if they can go and hang tough with those teams, those to me right now. I know the Packers are coming off a bad loss to the Panthers, so take that with a grain of salt, but those to me are the real late playoff contenders, and I just don't know if I'm ready to put the Bears in that category yet.
No, and that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the question we were talking about is could they do it, and I think they're
Oh,
building
I think they
on their season
could.
so far.
Yeah.
But to this one though, is like this is where they need to capitalize on this game here because the Giants like do pose some potential problems for them. Like everything I said that the Bears defense needs to do, and they're giving up a lot of yards. Jaxson Dart and this offense here has been successful. Like it's nothing too crazy on the stat sheet. Like I said, 24 for 33, 191 yards, but pretty efficient overall. Going to be a lot of checkdowns, getting guys in space. They have some smaller, shiftier guys that Brian Dable does do a good job. Like creating opportunities for them. Jaxson Dart's very mobile as well too. And on top of that as well, this Bears offensive line needs to continue to keep on improving because this Giants, one of the best parts of this team is going to be this defensive line for
Mhm.
New York. And if I'm not mistaken, I need to double check the stats as of right now, but Brian Burns was tied for the sack lead. Let me double check this here right now. Team, let's do
The Browns were idle this week, so
Browns
or
were
they had
out
a
of this week.
bye.
So if he had just at least one sack, where's the sacks? Yeah, he's got 11 sacks on the season though, right now. So that's the guy you're gonna have to worry about, and then you're gonna have to worry about not Will Anderson. I just saw his name up there. Who's the other guy?
Uh,
Kayvon
Abdul
Thibodeau.
Carter, Kayvon
Admiral.
Thibodeau.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, like, there's gonna be guys that could disrupt Caleb Williams, get him uncomfortable. So once again, super emotional win, but at the same time, though, too, this is one. If you're gonna prove me right, and if you can make a deep playoff push this year, like these are the games you got to just take care of business,
Yeah.
win, 28-14, make Jaxson Dart uncomfortable, and then just move on to the next week.
Yeah. No, and that's I think this will be uh, a hard fought win, but I still think the Bears will pull away late because I think usually you see these defenses fade, and as these offenses like these elite offenses go, I think that you'll see them kind of separate late. So I'm going to say 27-14 will be the final score here. Jaxson Dart probably throws for one and runs for one, but the Bears get a late touchdown to seal the victory.
That's real original of you, since I said 28-14.
Oh, I didn't. I don't remember that, but that was my fine. I'll go 31-17. How about that?
Whatever,
So,
whatever. That sounds good.
all right, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this one up here. We did not talk about the Giants very much, but
Well, so the one thing now, I mean, if we're going to talk about the Giants, it's going to be, I think now, Jaxson Dart's looking good. If I'm the owner,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of Brian Dable and Joe Shane anyways. But you can pitch to new head coaches and new GMs, be like, hey, Jaxson Dart kid looks pretty good. We don't have like Malik Neighbors is coming back. Cam Scadaboo's coming back. Offensive line isn't looking horrible. You have a good defensive line. I would obviously need to see who all is on contracts.
you go back to the
Um,
Bills coordinator well and get Joe Brady.
yeah, and then in 5 years fire him. I'm just kidding. And so no, Joe Brady I think is better. It's like what
Yeah,
he's done with that Bills offense compared to what it was. And then cap space here. Let me just double check to make sure 2026 cap space for the Giants. So cap space as of right now looks like they're only 14 million effective cap space. And this is over the cap, by the way, negative 3 million, but they can move some stuff around.
who are they
So
paying?
huh?
Who are they paying?
I don't know. A lot to Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. Yeah, Brian Burns is a bunch of that. Now, oh my gosh, their cap hit if they cut him. If I'm seeing this correctly, 72 million on cap hit. If they cut him.
They would
Oh
save
no.
72 million.
Oh, they might. Never mind. No, sorry. Their cap number 17 million for Brian Burns, 23 million for Dexter Lawrence. Bobby Okereke is 14. John Runyon 11. They just got a decent bit of guys that are in that 8 to 14 range. ish, so to say. Evan Neal is a decent chunk as well too. Shout out former first round picks. That's paying off well. But yeah, actually no, they cut Evan Neal, and then that's 8 million saved right there. So there's other guys that they can go and do that too.
Okay. Yeah. I They should make some big moves, I think, to clear up some cap space so they can go out and be aggressive or even make a trade. Because with Jaxson Dart in that rookie contract, I think, and they'll have to extend Malik Neighbors. You want to assume that they'll probably want to extend Abdul Carter with how well he's played so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it came on Thibodeau. They have said that they want to extend as well. So that'll be interesting to kind of see what the Giants do this offseason. But I think that's exactly what they're playing for right now, and that's the 2026 offseason. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead. Let's wrap this video up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. Or down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the New York Giants? Will it be the Chicago Bears? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.